Okay, here we have a problem that some of my students, they struggled with. It was part of a mixed practice, and I think the reason that they struggled with it is it's been a long time since we've done ratios. And I think that might be why they struggled with it. It's been so long since we did ratios that they might have forgotten about that neat little tool in situations like this. So let's read the problem and make sense of it. It says, if $42.50 is 40% of Mr. Sims' grocery bill, what is the total bill? Now this is a simple ratio type problem. And this is how I would set it up. I would put over here, I would say perhaps $42.50, and that would be 40% of Mr. Sims' grocery bill. And we want to know what is the total bill. And the total bill would be 100%, and I'm going to put my favorite variable x right there to represent the unknown. So what we have to do is figure out, what do you do to 40 to get 100? What do you do to 40 to get 100? Now I had a kid one time working on this problem, said you add 60 to it. That's not going to help us. We can't just add 60 to $42.50 and say, here you go. What you have to do is figure out, what do you multiply 40 by to get 100? And if you want to know what you multiply 40 by to get 100, you're going to have to divide 100 by 40. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right here. I'm going to take 100 and I'm going to divide that by 40. And 40, I can get two groups of 40 out of 100, but that's going to be 80. And then I'm going to do a little bit of subtraction here. My decimal point, bring that down. And 40, I can get 5 groups of 40 out of 200. So what we did to turn 40% into 100% is they multiplied it by 2.5 or 2.5. And whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. So I'm going to multiply $42.50 by 2.5, and that'll tell me how much the total is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shift this around just a little bit to show my work. Here is $42.50 times 2.5. Okay. I'm going to put a placeholder. Okay. And I have 1, 2, 3 digits to the right of my decimal point, so I have to have 1, 2, 3 digits to the right of my decimal point. And that 106.250, when I make that money, that's $106.25. So I can say that if 40% of the total bill is $42.50, then the total bill must have been $106.25. Now, I solved that one. My math practice, I guess, would be I use what I know about ratios to set the problem up, and then I worked it out step by step, and I showed you my process. Then I showed you the correct answer. So what grade would I have gotten if I were a random reporter for a table?
100.
Yeah, 100. Now, how many of you, my little children, how many of you had $106.25 for your answer? Table 3, that's awesome. All 4 of you had that. That's awesome. All right. I don't see a lot of other hands. Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. What approach did you use, Gracie, to solve that problem, or did you attempt it?
Okay, so I did 40% divided by 100 and I got 0.40, and then I times that to $42.50 and I got 17.
Okay, that's just because of the way you set it up. See, the way I did this one, you know, really maybe I could have had 40% on top and $42.50 down on the bottom. as long as I had the corresponding, ratio here, as long as I had 40 to 100%, $42.50 to X, either, as long as I had those lined up properly. But that's how you had to do it. You had to figure out what did you do to 40, and we determined that they multiplied that by 2.5 to get that, and so you had to multiply that by 2.5 to get, and we said X equaled $106.25.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop there and let you all have a chance to show me how it's done.